The political spotlight is on Chicago this week with the Democratic National Convention, but the Republicans have not shut down their campaign to give the Democrats all the attention. The Trump campaign has been busy this week with the theme, Make America Safe Again. Donald Trump and his running mate J.D. Vance were out yesterday. The former president visited a sheriff's office. Vance met with law enforcement personnel in Wisconsin. Here's some of what Trump had to say.
Kamala Harris will deliver crime, chaos, destruction, and death. If she's allowed to be the president of the United States, you'll see levels of crime that you've never seen before. I will deliver law, order, safety, and peace.
We'll get more on the Republican campaign and get some impressions on the Democratic National Convention now from Staten Island and Brooklyn. Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis with us in the studio. Thank you for being here.
Good morning.
It's instructive for a Republican politician to watch the Democratic National Convention. I imagine you didn't consume as much of it as Democrats might, but have you watched a little bit of it?
Well, certainly not with the Staten Island Yankees, Yankee Little League thing, but what I'll say is this. We have, what we're seeing from the Democrats really is a lot of gaslighting, right? They're trying to tell us what we're seeing, what we're experiencing, what we're feeling every day, whether it's paying $1.25 more at the pump, 50% more than when Trump left office, the high prices of groceries that have become so unaffordable in the stores, our utility bills that have skyrocketed because of the anti-energy policies of the administration at the state and federal level, or that the border is secure. They're trying to convince us that the border is secure when we have the worst mass illegal immigration crisis we've seen ever on record, and certainly here in New York City with gang members, murderers, criminals, rapists, as we've seen recently in New York, those horrible, horrific stories, including a 13-year-old girl raped in Queens, another woman in Brooklyn, 2 police officers shot, all by illegal immigrants that this administration directed CBP to release after they were in custody. They released them into our interior, and that's why those crimes occurred. So they're trying to convince us something that is different than what the reality that New Yorkers and Americans are experiencing every day.
So the question for voters is, what can you do differently? If they agreed with your assertions, they took the Democrats out of office, what are Republicans going to bring to turn around inflation, which is already coming down from the heights?
Well, for inflation, it's the energy policies of this administration, right? They have really hurt traditional energy sources via executive orders. And as a result, we're seeing prices skyrocket. Remember, energy is used for everything, to manufacture goods, to transport goods, to transfer food, to refrigerate food. So that's what's really fueling the high prices. But
Donald Trump comes out and says, I'm going to cut energy prices in half within 12 months of coming into office. He doesn't then support that with an actual explanation of how he's going to bring down the world oil price.
So I think what he's going to be doing is producing more domestic energy. I think that's the goal here. I'm all for clean energy. I think most Americans are, right? But we're not using renewable natural gas, which could be used from food waste, from litter. I just saw a facility the other day where they're producing this, and it is much cleaner than the electric vehicles that they're pushing from the Democrats that are actually subsidizing factories in China, that they're actually going to support slave labor in the Congo. So we have an opportunity to jumpstart traditional energy sources and clean energy that is produced right here in the United States. It's cleaner, it's more efficient, it's cheaper, and it's a win-win all around. So I think that's one of the biggest things that President Trump would be doing in terms of energy. But the border is another issue. Remember, 60 policy changes via executive order by this administration. That's what created the crisis that we're seeing. We have not seen this type of crisis under any other administration other than the Biden-Harris administration. And they've allowed millions of individuals who are committing crimes. And what immigrant families should know is that if your family is in line right now for a green card, they're being pushed further down the line because they're prioritizing the people that are coming through the border that actually paid the drug cartels thousands of dollars to enter our country and did the wrong thing, as opposed to the people who've been waiting in line, they've paid attorneys, they've done everything right, they followed our rules, they didn't commit any crimes. They're being pushed further down the line. That is very anti-immigrant to me.
The Trump campaign has seemingly had some difficulty in pivoting to count Kamala Harris as the nominee. There was very much a focus on Joe Biden and his age. The Harris campaign has come out with this joy. Could the Trump-Vance campaign use a little joy right now?
Well, look, I think at the end of the day, what President Trump needs to do is focus on the stark contrast, right? Look, we're paying 50% more at the pump. Food has skyrocketed as a result of so many of their policies. We have a border that is wide open, crime taking over the streets of our city as a result. And this administration, whether it's going to be Biden or Harris or anyone else, they all support the same radical left-wing agenda.
But there's still this doom and gloom feel to what's coming out of the Republican side.
I think, honestly, if you look at where we're headed as a country, it is very concerning. Now they're talking about price controls. That's what they did in Venezuela. That is exactly what Hugo Chavez did in Venezuela, these artificial price controls as a response to inflation that they created. That is exactly what we're seeing, that same socialist playbook being played here. And look now, people in Venezuela are, looking for food literally looking for food in garbage cans, or they've fled because they've killed any type of private industry there, including their energy industry, which I think is really important because we're seeing that same type of policies happening here in the United States.
I've just got a minute left here. We've talked entirely about the presidential race. I do want to talk about these congressional races because New York was so much in focus in the last election. What are you hearing from voters in some of these districts that could go either way?
Look, I think we're going to hold on to the seats that we did win last cycle. I think Mike Lawler, Anthony D'Esposito, Nick LaLota, Mark Molinaro, these seats we should be able to hold on to. And I think it's because a lot of New Yorkers are fed up with the one-party rule in our state. It's the reason we won it 2 years ago. And people have to recognize, and I talked about like utility bills, 26% of New York City's electricity came from Indian Point Power Plant. What happened? The Democrats in Albany shut it down. Now they're relying more on fossil fuels. It didn't achieve the emissions reductions, and nuclear was clean, and it was cheaper, it was reliable, and it was affordable. So that is why people's utility bills are skyrocketing. It's these pocketbook issues that are going to make the difference. I think people are tired of seeing the lawlessness in our streets, the reduction of cops in New York City, the lowest level now since 1990. Okay, when we have the crime that we have, it is wrong, and they went from defunding the police, the Democrats, to just driving them out. They dropped the defund the police narrative because it was unpopular, but they're doing the same thing. We've lost thousands of cops since 2020, and they're not replacing them.
Good to have you on this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. For more stories in your communities, click the subscribe button right here. You can also download our app or watch us on TV for the latest news and weather updates every 10 minutes and more. We'll see you then.